Welcome back to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something that's reshaping enterprise operations across Europe. Agentic AI for enterprise workflows, with a specific focus on how Helsinki and Nordic businesses are building these systems the right way. Sam, this feels like a pivotal moment for enterprise AI, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We're past the chatbot era. What's happening now is fundamentally different. Enterprises are building autonomous systems that can orchestrate multiple tools, make decisions, and execute workflows without constant human oversight. The numbers back this up. 72% of enterprises deploying AI agents are already seeing measurable productivity gains, which is a massive jump from 42% just 2 years ago.
That's striking. But I imagine there's a catch, especially for enterprises in regulated environments like the EU. You can't just deploy autonomous systems without oversight, right?
Exactly. That's where the complexity comes in. For Helsinki-based businesses and European enterprises, the real challenge isn't understanding Agentic AI conceptually, it's building production-ready systems that actually comply with the EU AI Act while maintaining interoperability. It's not just about capability, it's about governance, traceability, and safety.
So when we talk about Agentic AI, what's the practical difference between that and the chatbots enterprises have been experimenting with for the past few years?
Traditional chatbots are reactive. They respond to a single query within a narrow context, and that's it. An agentic system is completely different. It retrieves information from knowledge bases, queries databases, invokes APIs, makes autonomous decisions based on business logic, and reports outcomes. A customer service agent doesn't just answer a question about a product. It checks inventory, processes returns, updates the CRM, and knows when to escalate to a human. It's orchestration across multiple domains.
That sounds powerful, but also risky. How do you ensure accuracy and prevent these systems from making decisions based on bad information?
This is where retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, becomes absolutely critical. Instead of an agent relying solely on what's in the foundational model's training data, RAG systems dynamically retrieve relevant documents, compliance policies, and operational data from your actual enterprise systems. The agent cites sources, maintains traceability, and grounds its decisions in real information, not hallucinations. Forrester research shows RAG-powered systems achieve 89% factual accuracy in enterprise scenarios, compared to 67% for non-augmented language models.
That's a massive difference. For regulated industries like finance or healthcare, that traceability alone must be invaluable. I'm guessing that's especially important for Finnish enterprises operating under GDPR and the new EU AI Act requirements?
Precisely. GDPR requires data governance and transparency. You need to explain how decisions are being made and what data was used. The EU AI Act is even stricter for high-risk applications. RAG inherently provides that auditability because every agent response is grounded in retrievable sources. It's not just technically superior, it's legally defensible.
Now, one thing I keep hearing about in the enterprise AI space is something called Model Context Protocol, or MCP. What is that, and why does it matter for these systems?
MCP is foundational. Think of it this way. Without standards, every agent-to-tool integration is custom-built. Your agent needs to talk to your CRM. You build a custom connector. It needs to query your database. Another custom connector. It needs to access your document system. Yet another. That becomes unmaintainable chaos at scale.
I see where you're going. MCP standardizes that?
Exactly. MCP creates a unified protocol layer, one integration point for CRM, one for databases, one for document systems, all speaking the same language. For European enterprises, this solves a critical governance problem: vendor lock-in. If you build agents on proprietary frameworks from a single vendor, you're trapped. MCP enables portability, reduces switching costs, and lets you interoperate with legacy systems, modern APIs, and proprietary data sources simultaneously. It's the difference between production-ready and fragmented experimental infrastructure.
That makes sense from both a technical and business perspective. So if I'm a CTO at a Helsinki bank or a healthcare organization and I'm thinking about implementing Agentic AI, where do I even start? What's the architecture look like?
You start with clarity on your workflows. What processes are you trying to automate? Customer service escalations, document processing, financial reconciliation. Then you layer in your RAG foundation. Identify your authoritative data sources, implement retrieval mechanisms, ensure data quality. Then you define your MCP servers, the integration points your agent will need. This is where interoperability standards become essential because you're ensuring that new agents can use existing integrations.
And then monitoring? Enterprises need to know what their agents are actually doing, especially in sensitive domains.
Absolutely critical. This is where platforms like AgentOps come in. You need end-to-end observability, visibility into agent decisions, the data they retrieved, the actions they took, and crucially, where things went wrong. For compliance purposes, you need audit trails. For safety purposes, you need to catch drift or unexpected behavior. AgentOps monitoring isn't optional. It's foundational for any regulated enterprise deployment.
Let's talk compliance specifically. The EU AI Act is coming, and it's stricter than anything we've seen before. How does that change the architecture conversation?
The EU AI Act categorizes AI systems by risk level. High-risk applications and agent-based decision systems in finance or healthcare definitely qualify, require documentation of training data, testing protocols, human oversight mechanisms, and ongoing performance monitoring. Your architecture has to be designed with this in mind from day one, not retrofitted later. You need clear human handoff points. You need explainability built in, not bolted on. You need data governance that's already GDPR compliant. And you need the ability to show regulators that your system operates within defined boundaries.
That's significant. I'm imagining that's where governance frameworks come into play?
Right. You need clear policies about what your agents can and cannot do. What decisions can they make autonomously? What requires human approval? What data can they access? What's off-limits? These policies need to be enforceable in code, built into your MCP servers, embedded in your RAG retrieval logic, monitored through AgentOps. It's governance as architecture, not just governance as documentation.
What about the Nordic angle? Why is Helsinki specifically interesting as a place to deploy and develop these systems?
Helsinki and the Nordic region are innovation hubs with deep technical talent and a strong regulatory infrastructure. Nordic enterprises understand data governance because they live GDPR. They understand what European regulators expect. There's also a pragmatic culture around adopting new technology responsibly. Nordic enterprises don't chase hype. They implement what actually delivers value while maintaining compliance. That makes the region ideal for proving out production-ready agentic AI systems that can become templates for the broader EU market.
So if an enterprise is just starting down this path, what's the biggest mistake you see companies make?
Two things, actually. First, they build without standards in mind. They prototype with proprietary frameworks, get excited about results, and then can't scale because they're locked into a single vendor ecosystem. Second, they treat compliance and governance as an afterthought. They build the agent, it works, and then they realize it can't pass regulatory scrutiny. The enterprises we see succeed are the ones that start with compliance requirements, build interoperability into the foundation, and treat monitoring and governance as first-class concerns, not add-ons.
That's valuable perspective. So practical takeaway. If you're a Helsinki enterprise or operating in Europe and thinking about agentic AI, start with compliance and interoperability in mind, build on RAG foundations for accuracy and traceability, implement MCP standards for portability, and monitor rigorously through platforms like AgentOps. Sam, anything else enterprises should be thinking about?
Yes. Partner with teams that understand both the technical depth and the regulatory landscape. Agentic AI for European enterprises isn't just an engineering problem. It's a governance and compliance problem wrapped in technical architecture. Get it right early, and you have a competitive advantage. Get it wrong, and you're rebuilding on a shaky foundation while regulators are watching.
Excellent point. If you want to dive deeper into the technical specifics, governance frameworks, and case studies of Nordic enterprises deploying agentic AI systems, head over to EtherLink AI and find the full article. We've linked it in the show notes as well. Sam, thanks for the deep dive today.
Thanks for having me, Alex. This is an exciting moment for enterprise AI in Europe, and I'm glad we're talking about it honestly.
To our listeners, if you're building, deploying, or governing agentic AI systems, we want to hear from you. Find us on social media or visit etherlink AI to get in touch. Thanks for listening to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and we'll see you next time.